Good morning. Minister has a brief statement, and then he's happy to take questions.
Good morning. I hope you all had a good summer. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're on Treaty 6 lands, the Traditional Territory Treaty 6, and I'd like to acknowledge the Métis people of Alberta who share a deep connection with this land. I'm pleased to be here this morning to present our government's first quarter fiscal update and economic statement. Obviously, I'm happy with the progress we see in this fiscal update. Jobs are up, earnings are up, rigs drilling are up, exports are up, manufacturing shipments are up. And the deficit is down $1 billion from budget. So yes, I'm pleased. Alberta's economy is growing. But I'll not be satisfied until recovery is felt around every kitchen table in this province. And let me also say that no one in Canada who cares about jobs and the economy should be satisfied until Canada can get full value for its most important commodity. The Premier was very firm in her remarks on that yesterday. Now, as you can see, I've taken a prudent approach to our revenue forecasts. Oil prices are volatile. And so at this stage, 3 months into the fiscal year, I'm only prepared to increase our oil forecast by $2 from $59 to $61. We will monitor prices carefully and adjust our forecasts as the fiscal year progresses. I'm also leaving the full $500 million risk adjustment in place. With the deficit down by $1 billion and the economy growing, we are on track to balance the budget by 2023-2024. But we will keep a steady hand and a firm eye on the bottom line. So we'll continue to prudently control spending and protect services like healthcare and education, and we'll continue to invest in diversification and new technologies. And we'll make sure our kids get the best education possible so that they can have the skills to compete in a new economy. And we'll protect and improve healthcare. And we will meet our targets on the path to balance. That's the plan. The plan is working. And as the first quarter fiscal update shows, we are on track. Thanks. I'll take some questions now.
Path to balance, still a path to balance, given that it's tied in part to TMX and some of the money from the feds that Notley is pulling out of?
Yes, we're still on track to balance by 2023, 2024. We're going to make adjustments as we go, of course. We do that at every fiscal update and budget. But we're down $1 billion in the first quarter based on conservative revenue forecasts. This pipeline is critically important to the whole country, this province in particular, and every other province. Every provincial budget and the federal budget depends on the revenues that we can get by getting international prices for our most important commodity. So it's incumbent upon the federal government to move on this as quickly as possible.
How much money does TMX represent 5 years down the road, do you think? I mean, in terms of getting rid of that differential, getting that access, how much?
The differential, we've got a conservative differential in place, more conservative than industry, private sector right now. So that's good. There are a number of assumptions, not just TMX. We have 2 other pipelines that are in play and will help us out in that path to balance. We know that by 2023 we'll be balanced. We'll be then focused on the debt and turning our attention to making sure we do what's in the best interest of all Albertans.
So you're saying that TMX will have no impact at all on your path to balance?
I'm saying that TMX was, of course, one of 3 pipelines that were identified as potential to happen. 2 of those 3 need to happen to transport the oil that will be produced by oil sands and conventional producers in this province, out of this province. So I'm saying that there are 2 other opportunities, and those are in play as well.
What does suspended construction on TMX right now mean for the budget in March?
The suspected construction? Suspended. Sorry, I didn't hear it. In March, as I said, there are 3 pipelines we identified in our March budget. You can see them on page 104 in terms of the growth of the oil production in this province that need to be transported out. If there is challenged to one or more of those, the differential will remain wide. We need to see that differential close to the point where we get international prices as opposed to ones that come to us as a result of transporting through the United States. TMX is very important, of course, to the whole country. If what we need is a federal government to get back, address this, and set it straight.
Even with, as you say, TMX, but as you admit, it's a volatile industry, we don't know.
Right.
But we pretty much set the entire path to balance based on that.
Not the entire path to balance on TMX alone.
No, it's tied mainly to a very volatile industry, right? To
Well,
resource revenues, right? 10.4 billion by 2023.
Yeah, it's our biggest part of the economy in this
Why do that?
province.
Is that the most prudent way to go? Why not focus more on things that are within your control, such as perhaps more spending restraint?
This quarterly update shows good restraint in terms of meeting budget expenditures on the expense side. So the expense side is really doing well, actually, as a result of the work of the administration. We're on track there.
So with Trans Mountain and the uncertainty surrounding it, you need 2 other pipelines. How crucial then suddenly is Keystone XL?
There are 3 pipelines that are important for this province. All of those pipelines, 2 out of 3 of them are necessary to happen. Keystone XL, if you look at the budget book 104, it shows that it can take a lot of capacity far into the future. So it's an important pipeline for sure.
How confident are you, I mean, if we face the problem, Northern Gateway's dead, Trans Mountain is suffering, Keystone has been controversial all along. How confident are you with the progress of, we've heard a lot on TMX, but on Keystone and Line 3?
Yeah, it's probably a really good question for energy, more particularly.
A lot of money involved there too.
Yeah, but I can tell you that I'm confident that Keystone has an additional hurdle that they're addressing right now. So I'm certainly hopeful that they'll be able to address that hurdle and be in place when we need that capacity in the 2021 timeframe.
You're always having to sort of rejig numbers as things come in, but in yesterday's development, has that prompted your department now? Do you have to do some more fundamental rejigging of estimates and costs and forecasts?
Rejigging of what?
Well, just in terms of, I'm just trying to gauge what kind of an impact a suspended TMX will have on how you craft, I guess, next year's budget.
Yeah, well, we're here talking about Q1 update for the first quarter of 18-19, and I can tell you that we're ahead of where we thought we were going to be on the deficit to $1 billion. We're borrowing less as a result of that, and our expenditures are as forecast. So that's really good news. We will, of course, be looking at all the adjustments we need to, with budget in particular, in March. And we will be looking at other implications as they come forward.
Sorry, what my question was, I know it's a Q1 day, it's also a TMX day. Did what happened yesterday, is that going to change, or is it changing how you fundamentally approach the numbers, say, going into next quarter, next year?
Well, we'll be, I'm not going to speculate on what we're going to do with the numbers next year, Dean. What I can tell you is that we're on a better track.
On your number crunching, if any.
What impact?
If it has an
Yeah,
impact.
TMX is important, of course, for this whole country, Dean. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs wrapped up in the energy sector in this country. And there are thousands of businesses across the country that are wrapped up with the energy sector. The stalling of TMX would not be good for Canada, for investment, and for the people and the jobs and the businesses that are connected to it.
And just following up on Dean's question, what will the announcement about withdrawing from the National Climate Plan mean for numbers next year?
Nothing next year. The federal carbon pricing does not kick in until 2021, so there is no impact.
And when will we see an impact as Albertans?
When
will we see an impact based on the current projections? Well, when does can you just speak a little bit about when the federal climate change plan comes into effect for Alberta's budget?
In 2021. The first quarter of 2021, there's a $10 increase from $30 to $40, and then the year after that, there's another $10 increase to $50. We're pulling out of that. We are not going forward, and we are calling on the federal government to, as soon as possible, set this right with regard to TMX.
But there must be a revenue impact to Alberta from that, from not taking part in the increase from, 30
But
to
that
40.
doesn't affect the 2018-19 budget at all.
Yeah, but down the line it will.
Yeah, but we're not here talking about down the line. We're here talking about the first quarter of 2018-19.
To be fair, you also said in your opening remarks, we're on the path to balance by 2023. So you opened up that can.
That is fair.
Based on a
yes.
volatile industry, but I guess you're confident we're gonna hit it by 2023 while admitting that there's a lot of different things in play.
Yeah.
What makes you so confident?
The fact that we see a $1 billion reduction in the deficit this year in the first quarter, the fact that we see less borrowing happening as a result, the fact that we're on target expenditure-wise, the economy is growing in this province, Albertans are doing better, and we are seeing more diversification take place. So those are the things that bring confidence to me that we're back on track and we're growing far faster than any other province in this country.
We'll take one more and then we'll wrap up.
You spent 31 million, on the public advocacy campaign to promote
Yep.
the Trans Mountain Pipeline. Do you plan to continue spending and has that money
Absolutely.
worth it?
Absolutely. It's probably no more important time than now to continue to show Canadians the importance of good energy infrastructure, safe energy infrastructure in this country. More and more Canadians all the time are on side with the need for that right across this country. So we're going to continue to send that message out, and the message I'd also like to send out is that the federal government has a responsibility to address this with TMX now. We can't wait.
We'll go to Dean and then we'll.
With that, the beer program, I think you were talking about we're gonna have a revised program for
That's correct.
small brewers. How are you doing with that and what's the timeline?
We will have something to say on that in the very near future. There is a number of discussions going on. A revised beer program is at hand and will be talked about
Be
soon.
there by November, right?
That's
for
correct.
6 months? Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.